Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are when you're going to watch this back. A warm hello from me, Chrisoula.
And a warm hello from me. I'm Helen. Hi, Chrisoula. How are you doing?
Hi, Helen. Hello, my dear. It's lovely to say yes to this heart-to-heart conversation. It's something that came from both of us. It's something that both myself and Helen, we agreed to co-create, because we are both kind of, if we say, at the same stage or something like that. And the stage we're going to share with you is, what does it feel like? How does it work when you are childless by choice? When by childless not by choice. I said that before, didn't I? So childless not by choice or childless by circumstance. So there are different phases when we're going through. When there's something's going on, whether it's physical or emotional or a circumstance that it didn't allow us to become mothers or fathers, because this is equally for both women and men that are childless, not by choice. Just to be clear. And there are different phases, and it will be clear from our conversation, heart-to-heart conversation between me, Chrisoula, and Helen. It's that there is a process, and ultimately, we all have got to go through it. And the mourning process, the grieving process, and some people take it one way, some other people take it a different way, but there's no right or wrong way, is there?
No, absolutely.
There's no right or wrong way. And it depends at what stage you are in your life, and also the environment you are in, but also your own choices, because for me that's really fundamental to talk about your choice, how to feel about the situation or the circumstance, or perhaps how much meaning do you find in your life when you are not being a mother or a father. And equally, what is your purpose? Probably I like us to see all the goodness and positive and hope and joy and meaning that if a father or somebody who is not a father or a mother could actually have in their lives, because life without kids can be meaningful, right? I believe that. And we have got, a life. I've got a life that I've got that time to give to the community, and I've got that time to work with my clients and support my clients, and vice versa. Helen, you're doing your thing through your practice, and we've got the time to write books and contribute to our communities and now in the world in a different way. And yes, probably if you take me back a few years ago, it wouldn't be the case. I wouldn't feel the same way. But it has been a long time, and there's a lot of work, a lot of digging, a lot of connection with truly who is Chrisoula. Chrisoula, yes, I want to be a mother, and Helen wanted to be a mother too. But this is one role, one hat. There's so many others. So I'm a teacher, I'm a radio broadcaster, hostess of different live shows online, facilitator, entertainer, because I love having people around and create different opportunities for people to connect. I'm a connector. I'm an integrator, because I always say that there's no I've got to that point, to that stage, bingo, finished. I've done my work. I don't need to work anymore. I'm complete. There's no, we constantly integrate all the things we get in. So this is just a few things from me, and I'll pass to Helen now, because it's not just me talking here. It is a conversation, but I'd like to say just a few things from me. But I'll be back. Helen, over to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I absolutely agree. I've always felt like you've either got path A or you've got path B, and we don't all get a choice to some degree on which path we end up on. But whatever path you end up on, you will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely will be okay, because I really do believe, and I've found to be true for me and so many other people that I've worked with or used to see in I used to work in hospitals in the NHS, and you know what I've seen throughout my time working in different capacities and in my own journey is that we all have the resources within us to deal with and grow from the things that life sends our way. And like, nobody ever said that this journey is straightforward and smooth and you know, linear and always pain-free, but we know how hard it can be, don't we? There have been times when my heart has absolutely broken, but if you don't experience that degree of difficult emotion, you're not really able to access that other degree of really positive emotion. And so, you know, I'm not saying it's a wonderful thing to experience, because it's not. It's blooming hard, and it can really, it can be a long road to try and navigate your way through. But people do come out the other side intact with a genuine love of life, and they find a way to make it make sense and embrace path B in my case. And yeah, what I see is that we're both doing that, aren't we? We're both doing what we can. We're not kind of standing here saying we've got it all sorted and we know all the answers and we've 100% put it behind us. But we're here, we're functioning, we're enjoying life, we're probably, well, I know we're both really grateful for our life and what we get to do in it. And that doesn't mean we don't have moments, but that's okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to break us. So yeah,
that's okay. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It is okay to accept your emotions, and you know, I could be tearful, and I could, you know, see a baby and feel upset about it. And because I've always felt that I wanted to be a mother, so it wasn't like something suddenly came to me. That's my story. Okay, since I was a child, I always wanted to be a mother. I knew that there were two things I could do really well in life. That was to be a mom, and the other thing to be a teacher or a doctor. So now I have become more like the doctor, not with the you know, the stereotypical sense of a doctor, but more like helping people go through emotional situations and therapy and healing from that point of view. That kind of doctor. So yes, it is hard when you start off life with saying, well, I love kids, I would love to be a mom, and then eventually you don't have children. And then it's hard also for other people outside. They've known you all your life and they say, so what's happening here? So you were always in favor of having a family and kids and so on. So what happened? And in my case, it was hard, because it was hard from the point of view that it wasn't like a physical issue with me. You know, like there was not like some women suffer from different things, you know, and they could not conceive, or, but in my case, I never happened. So I don't know. So it was purely circumstances that actually dictated, in a way, you know, that the fact that I won't be a mother. So it was really hard to face life and then say life loves me and life supports me, when life threw me different circumstances, and then I say, okay, so really, can I trust life? So that was a question that it was part of who I've been. Like trusting life that's something really important, because there was one thing that I really wanted to have, to be a mother and give my love and nourish my children and see them growing up, but it was not possible. So it wasn't, from that point of view, it was a really hard lesson for me, how to trust life. And believe me, I keep working on this. I am in a different stage now, but I still feel that there were moments that said, no, life loves you. You trust life. I trust life. So it's a key. It's like a mantra. It's a key. It's something that I've chosen to use, because that's something that makes me feel peaceful inside. It could be something else for you. It could be a different mantra, a different a sentence, or something that really speaks to you. But for me, I trust in the process of life, and life loves me. That's something that really gives me that sort of, if I feel a little bit like, bring it back again. Because it does happen, Helen, doesn't it? That there are moments where we are not on track. We're not in alignment. That's a word probably you have heard. Somehow, there is this disalignment, this imbalance, and whatever happens in life, it could be a major thing, or it could be just a small thing that it's okay, and then you feel a little bit like that, or sometimes you feel too much out of track. And what do you do? For me, one thing is to have this mantra, and use affirmations, and that's one way. I mean, there are lots of other ways, but that's one way for me. So what has worked for you, Helen, in terms of, have you got your own mantra, or do you do meditation daily? What do you do?
Yeah. So I think it's important to say, actually, first of all, because you touched briefly upon your story, and I'll just really briefly touch on mine, because I think it's also quite nice for people to know that people come from different places with this journey.
Absolutely.
And actually, for me, and there might be people watching this that are like I was, I actually didn't really want children. I wasn't sure I wanted children, because I was such a horrendous child myself. I didn't ever want to have I was a nightmare. And I didn't want to ever have to deal with a child that was like I was. Really. And then I met my husband, my soulmate, my darling man, and we had a conversation. I met him at 30. We had a conversation about children, and he really wanted them and I didn't. And then what happened for me was 2 years down the line, at 32, the urge to have kids kicked in big time. And I worked in I was actually just training as a sonographer, I think, at the time when the urge first kicked in. So I was working in obstetrics and gynae, surrounded by pregnancy and all its associations all of the time. And actually I could get pregnant. I got pregnant 3 times, but I couldn't sustain a pregnancy. So that's what my story was. And I just wanted to share that, because the other thing I see is that people have a lot of guilt around, is it their fault? And, maybe it's my fault because I didn't want children for the first 20 years or whatever it might be. I've had conversations like that with people. And, I think it's kind of nice that we both come at it from different perspectives, but still it was my story for 10 years, a good 10 years. That was what I was focused on. And there was a lot of guilt for me around being someone who was already training in Chinese medicine and, knew how to have holistic health and knew how to maintain balance and all that stuff. And it's like, why can't I achieve this? Because I know about this stuff, and there's that sense of failure as well. And so,
yes.
I love what you suggested with mantras, and I think it's a lot of the time we're not just dealing with the pain, we're dealing with the sense of failure and guilt and not being worthy as a woman and all these things, letting our partners down, whatever it might be. Even if we're in a same-sex relationship and it's a lot more complicated, it's all these issues are still the same. And so for me, really, my savior was meditation. meditation and yoga, and practices that helped me access, helped me be embodied and make peace with my body, because I was at war with my body for a long time. I hated it for letting me down.
Yes.
And practices that helped me find peace, you know, amongst the chaos that was happening in my head, and that reconnected me to something that was fundamentally me. And like you say, I love the way you did this, because I do this quite a lot, because I feel like we all have this solid core, and I like to talk about it as being a bit like, you know, once you find it, you can be like a tree, a really old solid tree that stood there for hundreds of years, and you can bend and you can sway, but the likelihood of you breaking once you found this kind of central core, this core channel that was your original you when you came here, I don't know, it just recenters you, it reconnects you to something deeper, something more fundamental, something that is never going away.
Yes.
Even if you don't get to have the kids that you wanted, or, you know, if you don't get to do any other of the things that you wanted in your life, that doesn't go away.
And that it takes a lot of nourishment as well. It is we talked about also responsibility, self-responsibility, self-care. That takes like for me the word consistency comes to mind. So whatever practice really speaks to you, you know, meditation and visualization is really part of my own healing process, and understanding more of my needs, and what the next step forwards are. And because the questions are there, and then the dilemmas are there, but the answers don't always come from outside. The answers come from within, and this is when meditation and really connecting with my own voice inside. And that comes back to sometimes when I know that you put a video out there, Helen, about people asking the question, you know, what about kids, or have you not had kids, or something along these lines, or sometimes it could be some other rude comments around that area. But it comes down to really saying it's okay with where I am in life, and without asking permission from the others to acknowledge where you are, or to say, okay, good, you're where you are, we love you as you are. Because this acknowledgement and love and appreciation, first and foremost, comes from you, nobody else. You know, you may want your parents to love you, you may want your friends to accept you, you may want your colleagues to be more compassionate with you, but if you're not loving yourself as you are, as Helen was saying, if you don't have this compassionate relation with your own body, if you're not sort of letting go of all the guilt, no one else will do for you. And that's something that I have gone through it, and I believe Helen has gone through it as well, because there is nobody out there will be saying, you know, it's okay, you know, we do get it, but do they really get it? Even if they say that, do they really get it? And as long as you get it, that's all it matters. From our point of view, you know, I am where I am, and nobody can really get the different phases and different challenges and the different dilemmas and the different doubts and the different questions and anxieties and anger and all of that has been part of my life for many, you know, it was part of my life for many years. Luckily, it's not anymore. But still there are moments that, as we were saying before, that because we're humans, and perfection, yes, we are perfect as we are. Of course, I believe that. But, you know, when it comes to our own emotional turmoil, it's not always possible to just stay calm. And it's okay. It's all right. You know, it's how you deal with the storm. You know, how you embrace the storm and you learn from it, and how you come out of it. For me, that's the real sort of, you know, said, okay, I'll find a different way now. Something that comes with more ease. Instead of, you know, really going up against the wall and resist, you know, what's happening, just say, okay, what can I do to be more in the flow? How can I be more, you know, in the flow? But starting with you. And that's something that I can, there's not, for me, yes, of course, we do need people that get us, and we do need people to love us and care for us. And of course, it's just a human condition and a human way of, you know, existing in this, you know, life. But we can't get everybody to see what we're going through. And that's why when the nasty comments come, some of you feel it more than others. It's because these people are coming into your life because they are your teachers and they're there to help you. If you see that for a moment, I know it could be really hard to see that depending where you are in your mourning grieving process, but these people are coming back to you because somehow you attract them. I don't know how to say that, but somehow you attract them. And they're there to ask the question until you are ready to respond, but not from a space of anger or resentment or frustration. Until the moment you say, no, I don't have kids. So when somebody asked me and I replied with that question, I replied to that question in this way, because of course they have asked me. And probably they will carry on asking me. They will carry on asking us. When I reply in that way, is what I'm actually giving back to them, the vibration I'm giving. And I don't know whether you get when I'm saying vibrationally or whatever, but that's what I reply. What my response is, it's like, I don't allow any space for more questioning or more, by the way, yes, I don't have kids. I feel really bad about it. And yes, I would like you to ask me more questions. And you do that, not consciously. I don't think that you do that consciously, but you do it subconsciously until you become conscious of where you are. And the more conscious you become, the more you actually starting to let go and feel this freedom of being you as you are without kids, but appreciating every single aspect of you as you are. So yeah, it's not an easy thing. I said it's not an easy thing, but yeah, it's not an easy thing to feel triggered all the time either. I wouldn't like to be in that position. It's very the energy, your energy, that kind of energy.
Yeah, but you're right, it does shift, it does change, because, you know, when people ask me that question now, it doesn't bother me at all. And I'm like you, I don't invite further conversation about it unless I particularly feel like it. I don't know, like that's where my energy is. I will just state it quite happily. My husband does as well. We were asked it recently, and just like, no, we don't have kids. End of.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
end.
Exactly, the end. Yeah.
And it's really good to know that it's possible to get to that place, isn't it? Because for years I was so triggered by that question, and I think it's really good to know that. I don't know, it's so easy when you're in the position that we've been in, that other people watching this might be in. It's so easy to think that, like, you're the one that's suffering, you're the victim, and you're the one that has all the problems, and the other person is the enemy, and they're judging you and they're out to get you and all that stuff. But they're not. That's just what your little voice in your head is telling you. And they might have their own horrendous problems.
Yes, absolutely.
That you don't even conceive of. It's like, you know, that thing of until you walk in somebody's shoes.
Yeah.
You have no concept of what's their reality, what's their story, how do they feel on a day-to-day basis. But I think it's lovely that we can both sit here and say it passes.
Yes.
You find peace even with that question.
Yes.
And it no longer has any power, and the power that we gave it, it's not power from the other person, it's power we gave it. All things pass.
Yes, it is a, don't know, we may call it resilience, or you may call it working with, self-esteem, or I think for me is deep down is actually find that peace with whatever life offers you, and create the best out of it, and say, okay, being a mother and being a parent is not part of my life. However, how can be a mother or a parent by being mothering and nourishing and giving and loving in other ways?
Yeah.
So the mother instinct, or the mothering, or the loving and caring is in every single woman, whether you want to accept or not, that's a different matter. But the bottom line is every single woman, and man as well, the feminine energy is not only available to women, it's also available to men. I don't know, maybe it's news for you, but I don't mind bringing this news to you. But it is available to equally. The masculine energy is available to women. Okay, so I'm not going to go through that at the moment, because this is not, the whole focus of our heart-to-heart conversation with myself and Helen. But it is about actually honoring the mothering gifts, or nourishing gifts, as as a woman out there. And what can you do to bring that more out there through your work, your practice, your hobbies, your charity giving, your projects, whatever these are, there are so many other outlets. You call it outlet, right? That's the right word. Yeah. Or streams of, channels of communication or possibilities. For me, life is full of possibilities. And that's the bottom line. And life is to be celebrated. And if kids is not part of my life, okay, how can I maximize my life? What can I do with it? There's no, for me, it's like being a victim and seeing myself as a, marginalized or different from somebody else who have got children, or less, that I don't have the same rights, or something like that. So some sort of being by having a stigma around it. These things don't touch me personally, right? Personally, these things don't touch me because I value who I am. And please don't take it as if it's a selfish thing or egotistical thing or anything like that. It's just I value what I can bring to other people's life, the difference I can make in other people's life. Everything, as a friend, as a daughter, as a wife, as a godmother, as radio broadcast, whatever, as a color therapist, as a coach, whatever, there's, what do I bring out there? How much value do I bring out there? So you need to value yourself first to be able to say, yes, I'm bringing value to you as well. Because you cannot be of service to others when you don't really know exactly how you can be of service. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, maybe children didn't come to my life. They're not part of my life, but I have been really teaching children for many years. So that's another way of giving back in a way. And everything I've done in the last few years is all to do how to support children So my next step now is actually how to support parents, their own emotional wisdom and upheaval, or how they can navigate their own emotions so they can have that strong and open and honest, healthy relationship with their children. Because as a teacher, I've seen how hard it is for some families to have that kind of relationship. I've seen that. So it's not just theory. It's not just reading in books. I've actually experienced that. I lived that. I know that the kids out there, they're not in happy homes. So that's one way I can actually help. That's one way. And if people say to me, well, you don't have kids, how could you possibly know? Well, I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a kid, and I know what it's like not to be received or understood or supported by my parents. So, or what it was when I had this really joyful and open-hearted relation with my parents. So I know how it feels both ways. So yeah. Do I need to have kids to understand that more?
No. I went through a phase of working with babies. I don't know if you knew that.
Babies?
Yeah, as a craniosacral therapist.
Oh, sweet. No, I didn't know
that. And actually my husband specialised in kids with reading issues, and as he was doing specialist optometry at the time for kids who had normal eye tests but couldn't read, and couldn't, just got really frustrated and tired and things trying to learn. So in a funny, but that helped us make sense of it, because we were both doing a lot of work with kids, or babies in my case, kids in his case, and that kind of at the time gave us a sense of this does make sense, because we wouldn't be able to invest our time and our energy and be fully present for those kids and those babies in the way that we were if we had our own children. And also I think it was quite nice for me to be able to hold the space for a brand new baby and change the family dynamic by helping the baby deal with the birth trauma and all the stuff that comes through in a very small baby, without having any knowledge of what it's like to be a mum, which might potentially have got in the way. So we've both ironically had periods of time working with children or babies. I'm not saying that's the only way you can come to terms with it, because it's not. I've found purpose in helping people reach their fulfillment, and for a while it was through babies, and now it's through women, because we, as women, we have so many issues with not experiencing full expression of ourselves and not honouring ourselves and all that stuff. And I don't know if I'd have tapped into that if I wasn't a mum, or if I was a mum rather. I don't know if I'd have actually unearthed what I feel I came here to bring to the world. And like you say, it is a form of mothering in a way, isn't it? It's that it's still that nurturing instinct. It's kind of not, I don't want to heal anyone or fix anybody, but I'm quite happy to provide a safe space for them. Like you say, really see them, really hear them. Because that's all people want, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
So essentially what we're saying is, don't give up hope.
Don't give up.
It will all make sense in the end.
Yes.
We all find our way. We all find our purpose.
And sometimes it cannot always be possible to find your way on your own completely. So that's another thing. I would say that not because I'm out of ego. I've spent thousands of pounds traveling to different places to be mentored and be guided and to learn. I'm sure Helen.
Me too. Yeah.
Thing. So, and I'm not saying you've got to do this, but what I'm saying is, it's actually the guidance and the support and the clarity and the alignment we talked about comes through learning and through educating and investing in you. And that's what it has been for me for many years. And I know I will never stop investing in me and learning more and seeing how I can really be what we call the best version of me, you know. So yeah. And I would have loved to support other people that they are on that sort of path, and they are sort of asking themselves, how could I do this? How could I? That's the thing. That's the purpose of this conversation as well. So if there's something that you say, okay, what can I do? But just trust that the right person will turn up, that the right person will, the right teacher will turn up when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of things out there that, quotes, but these quotes actually, they have deep meaning. So you say the teacher turns up when you're ready, or something along these lines. So yes, it has happened to me, and I'm sure it has happened to you, Helen, right? So
time and time again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it could be me that is turning up in your life, and I'm there to help, guide, inspire. And then it could be Helen, or it could be somebody else. So that's part of life. And the answer sometimes, sometimes we are really frustrated because we expect, or we demand that we could do things on our own. And this can be really harsh. To have that kind of relationship with yourself, expecting that you could actually fix everything, you could have the answers on your own. And I could be like that sometimes. So I say that because I don't like relying on people sometimes, because people in the past, they let me down. So I just try to get things by myself. But then when the right person, meaning the person that I am in alignment with, and I feel that it's a deep feeling. It's not just lighthearted. It's really deep. And then I go with it. So this is when I studied hard intelligence, or I started become a color psychologist, because these people, these mentors, were there. I was really totally with them. So if there's somebody like that can help you, then follow your gut instinct. Follow what is good for you.
That's such a good point, because women especially are not always good at reaching out for help and asking for help. And again, unlike you, I only know this because I am one, and I've had to learn this lesson, and I still have to learn it sometimes as well, like I have to keep learning the lesson of trust.
Yes.
But yeah, we can't see our own blind spots. And and even things like I talked about being embodied. Sometimes in order to do that, you physically need a facilitator. You need someone to put their hand actually on your body, and to encourage kind of encourage you through words or whatever it might be to reconnect back in and get out away from this busy head that we end up inhabiting half the time. So it's a really important point. And there's so many routes in, aren't there? Like all the things we've both learnt. I think writing, journaling, dancing, walking on the earth, just singing, just getting in touch with your kid energy, child energy.
Yes, it is beautiful.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's all
because
very
we grow
important.
up and we become serious, don't we? We've got to behave in a certain way.
Yeah, and it's all nonsense.
We're expected to behave in a certain way. No. I can be the way I want to be, I can be. And I think that's what, sometimes the people say, oh, what does it mean to follow your truth? And that's the question that some people say, oh, so what do you mean by truth? Just be you. Be you, For me, being you is actually being spontaneously you. And just, if you're happy, show your happiness. But if you're upset, don't hide it either. And I think, we talked about vulnerability, and that's what, when being childless, yeah, it is a vulnerable position to be in, but you've got a voice. Just share how vulnerable you feel. Share with people, you trust, or connect with groups that they have some support. There are lots of groups out there that, offer that kind of support. And yeah, connect with people that you feel that they're there to listen to you as well. So it's that's another thing. I'm grateful for those people in my life that actually I can share, and then they don't need to come back to me and say, "Oh, you better do this," or "You better do that," or you know what I mean. Trying to
what you
fix you,
mean.
trying to, the people that can actually there hold a space for you, and then you can just release and share, but without always having to accept somebody else's opinion or way of being. This is again part of what we discussed before, Helen, about boundaries, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But when you do that, and people start saying, "Oh, I do this or do that," then this is how you actually say, "Well, I really like you to spend the next 5 minutes listening to me without coming back with any particular solutions. If I want to ask for a solution, I will definitely ask for it." So that's because that's and then it just eases off, any tension, or if you feel a bit uncomfortable, or or the other person thinks they've got to do something, or they should say something, or they should not say something. So just be open. Be open. For me, honesty and being true to you, that's authentic truth. That's what I mean by truth. Say or do something that comes from your heart. I think that's something that will help you, whether you are childless, not by choice, by circumstance, or through any other challenge in your life. And then maybe, yes, we are here to talk about that particular part of who we are, because that's another thing I like to say, that being childless is one part of me, it's not all of me. Just listen to that again. Being childless is one part of you, not all of you. There are lots of other parts of you, lots of beautiful parts of you. So I just, that's something that, because sometimes I'm a mess. I say, well, maybe a tiny little bit part of you is messy, but not all of you.
Yeah, because part of you is aware that you're a mess. So, so what's that part?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really, really good point, I think.
Yes.
We are about so many things.
We are. I am, you are, and everybody who's, possibly happy or attracted or drawn to listen to this again, or hopefully you're going to get something out of it. Maybe you won't. It's okay. I think the conversation I thoroughly enjoyed with Helen. I could just carry on talking for a long time. But it's just, we don't like it to be too long either, because we do appreciate you have got your own lives, and so many other videos out there to watch. We are bombarded with so many videos, but this particular one is for those of you, irrespective of what stage you are, through accepting being childless, not by choice. And if anything we said touched you or inspired you or shifted something in you, then we have achieved something little, whatever. So
absolutely, yeah. We talked a little bit before we recorded, and I just said that hopefully we will drop little breadcrumbs, and even if they don't stick or make sense right now, maybe they will a bit later on, or maybe there's just something there that sows a little seed of hope or peace or possibility.
It is about following the breadcrumbs as well.
Yes, it is.
Because
I
one
agree with
program will
that.
bring you to another one. So, and every day it's a revelation of something else about you, or something else about people, life, where you want to go, what do you want to be. So, yeah. And it is all about evolving, isn't it? We are all evolving. We are evolutionary beings. We're here to evolve. So the challenges or the difficulties, the adversities, the tragedies, it's all part of life. Like it's part of life having parties and traveling and offering whatever you like to offer back to the community, participating in festivals, big causes, charities, just dance, laugh, eat. There's so many, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. And we say that, and Helen and I, we believe that 100%. And life is beautiful with kids, and life is beautiful without kids. Yes.
Could not agree more.
Okay. So
every day is a blessing.
Every day is a blessing. Yes. Yes. So are we complete?
I think so. That seems like a lovely place to finish.
Because it could be another conversation sometime later on. You never know. Maybe, maybe not. So anyway, but for the moment, I am complete. And thank you so much, Helen,
thank you
for being part. For being together, co-creating this video from our hearts to your hearts, and whatever stage you are in life. So lots of blessings from me, Chrisoula.
And lots of love and self-compassion from me, Helen.
Beautiful. Okay.
Go with peace.
Yes. Over and out.